You're watching the Channel 4 News at 11.
Well, the deadline for candidates to declare their plans to run in the historic recall election just 8 days away, August 9th. You heard this morning there may be as many as 200 candidates. Likely one big Hollywood name will not be on the ballot, but we've asked a political expert, an analyst and a professor from Cypress College, Peter Mathews, to be here this morning. Peter, thank you for being here.
Good to be here, David.
Well, Schwarzenegger, in, out. What's the deal?
He'll let us know next Wednesday night. He's leaning toward out, in my opinion.
Why drag it out if really this doesn't help anything?
I think he really wants to run, but he's having some problem with getting permission from his wife,
Exactly.
Maria.
Well, and you know, no one wants to
situation.
ask why, but doesn't it get into the amount of scrutiny these candidates go through?
Absolutely. The amount of scrutiny is tremendous, and he has 4 young children as well who'll be involved in the public eye. So he's really hesitant about that.
Okay, so let's say he's out. What then about Richard Riordan?
It really opens things up for Dick Riordan, and he will be a very strong candidate as a moderate Republican, former mayor of Los Angeles.
Interesting that you don't mention ISA right up there, that this guy would have, what, a stronger chance?
Definitely, even though ISA funded the recall, and has lots of money, but Riordan also has money, but he's a moderate, and he could also get Democratic votes like he did in Los Angeles for many years.
Okay, are we beginning to see some cracks in the Democratic support for Davis?
Slightly, because 3 congresspeople, Brad Sherman, Calvin Cooley, and Loretta Sanchez, have asked Dianne Feinstein to be on the ballot. And she's hesitant because she doesn't want to take votes away or encourage the recall effort against Davis. And yet she's still leaving the door open to where in the last minute it's possible she might be on that ballot.
Well, here she is, and of course she's very, very astute, very experienced. You know, it's kind of hard to know. Do you run against a guy who could come back and haunt you?
That's a tough question. It's a good question, I'm telling you. But Feinstein would win with hands down if she ran.
If you were advising her, what do you think?
If I were advising her, I'd say go for it. She's got a great chance. But Davis really wants to keep her out, so he has a better chance of staying in and not being recalled.
Okay, so that's all the inside political skinny, but let's talk about how we are impacted. You've looked at the budget, you've looked at the cuts. Where are we going to feel it the most? Tremendous.
Every single driver will be paying vehicle license fee 3 times as much as he's paying right now. So from about $70 to $210 in the average increase in your car tax. And that's going to hit everyone who drives in California. That's one thing. Can
people really afford that? You know, let's look at people who are on such fixed incomes or very low incomes. You know, they're going to find ways under the radar to stay out there on the streets.
It's going to be very tough because they may have to cut back sometimes on food or medicine, things like that, to pay for the license fee. But also there's going to be community college students hit with about a 60% tuition increase. Cal State's and UC students, 30% tuition increase. You know, textbooks alone cost about $400 or $500 a semester.
Oh yeah, those textbooks,
so
man. Don't get me started on the price of those books, but of course schools also make money on that. So let me come back to the issue of the kids and the fees. Do you see that discouraging some from going into college?
It'll definitely hurt some people. I teach at a community college, and some of my students will have a difficult time taking a full load of classes. They have to drop out for a semester and work and set themselves back in terms of graduating.
I've been talking to city managers around the Southern California area who tell me the state budget is going to impact us in our local communities. Less cutting of grass at parks, less sweeping of streets and those kinds of things. Are we going to experience then some kind of a deterioration in our quality of life?
There's no doubt about it, David, and the legislature and the governor have not come to a proper budget which would have balanced it by raising taxes, certain taxes, and cutting certain programs, but instead they borrowed. They put everything off till next year, and they've borrowed $17 billion, David, which is causing a lot of cost in terms of interest alone. Peter, so quality of life will go down as well, unfortunately.
I talked to some municipal managers who tell me that part of the problem is this is a patch-up budget system. Is it ever going to get fixed?
It's a get-out-alive budget. It's a patch-up budget. It'll have to be fixed this coming year, but that's what we said last year, remember? I warned against putting it off, but they've put it off again. It's not good for California.
Peter, it's always good to see you here with your insight. Peter Mathews from Cypress College. Now let's go to Rachel, who's going to tell us more about the weather shaping up for this weekend.
Good morning, David. You know what? Absolutely. The weather is a little bit tricky outside because much of the Southland is enjoying beautiful, beautiful weather, but we actually have a flash flood watch in effect. So we have it in effect for the mountains and the